It's good. Oh yeah. Although I don't know if the bit rate needs to be that high, but you know, we'll roll with it. It's fine. Okay. Seems like everything is good and on point. We're ready to go live soon. Well, I mean, we are live, but we're ready to jump into stuff. I'll be using a program today called Milanote. Hopefully they become a sponsor in the future. I really do like their software. I like Milanote, I like Notion, but they're used for like different things. So this one is gonna be called Creator System. Maybe frameworks, right? We're still thinking. So we could talk about what the goal is. And is this gonna be a heading? Normal heading? Large heading. Okay. Cool. Hope everyone's doing well today. We're just about to get started. I think I just have some stuff to set up. I got some notes. Let's see. I like taking notes on multiple notebooks. So I got that all locked and loaded. Oh, the music track is really loud. Oh, there's Winnie. No, that's okay. You're good. I just didn't realize the music was that loud actually, so this is fine. I know. What happens? I just do Milanote streams. I get sponsored. Right? Yeah, I love Milanote too. Hashtag sponsor me, please.
Provide value.
Bye-bye. That's the joke. They did that for McDonald's for so long and they finally gave him. I think it was I forgot who it was. It was YouTubers. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. Cool. Okay. Let me see. Start virtual camera. So, I want to studio mode. So I can go into here. I think this one might be the best one. Go for. And transition. Not really feeling this song, so go back here. All right, we got some lo-fi. Cool. So yeah, we're doing creator systems and frameworks. Hopefully you can see that. The goal is to, I guess there's multiple goals, right? Goals. Help streamers make content easier. Make content for other. Make it easier for streamers to make content outside of Twitch. Right. Know what. Reduce overwhelm and overthinking. I guess always like, let me see. Goals to have creators like never run out of ideas. Yeah. Easier for streamers to think of content. Okay. So I guess we could call this like purpose. There we go. Oops. That was too much. All right. So there's the purpose. I don't know if y'all can see it. Maybe I need to make the text bigger? Or no, I guess I don't need to make the text bigger. Maybe I just need to control plus this. There we go. Hopefully this is easier for you to see. So there's the purpose. And let me see. Okay. So how, like, where do we start, right? I think first we have some questions to start off with. I guess we'll go with normal heading, right? Yeah, that's large heading. Let's go normal. No, actually, we could go with large heading. Shift. Is it shift 1? What's the hotkey for it? Control shift 1? Ah, okay. So we will go with questions, because I like answering questions. So first is like, what content should you make? Right? Like, what? And even like going deeper, it's like, what's your main content? Right? Main content, secondary content. What else did I write here? Like, how do you choose, right? Which is main and secondary. I think that's pretty important too. Trying to choose which one's main, which one's secondary. And it's like, oh yeah, right. Um, let's see, help streamers prioritize the more important work, right? 80-20 rule. All right. So let me see. I guess it's like, what do you want to share, right? What do you like? Why is it important to you? So I think these are like some of the questions to answer about like the content, right? What content should you make? What's your main? What's your secondary? How do you choose the main and secondary? And you ask yourself these questions like, what do you want to share? What do you like? What's important to you? All that stuff. Right. And I guess like we could like come up with some categories too. Right? Oops. Two categories. Right, so like easy, medium, and hard. And then like define each of these. Difficulty of production. So this one is for making short form content. Right? Define each of these and how to scale into each one. I think this one's important. We'll probably talk about this later. Do I need all caps? I don't think so. Let's just make it not all caps. We have purpose, questions, the difficulty of production. And I guess like another, I'm just like thinking out loud from a lot of the stuff that I have, that like, I think a big question here, right, is like that we have to answer is, what makes good content? Well, I guess it's highly subjective, so it like depends on what you like, depends on who your audience is, and then it depends like on how you like to play. Oh yeah, I wrote this down actually, right? Yeah. So has to be something you like. you have to, and then like knowing how you go about playing games is helpful, right? Has to be something your audience also likes and is interested in. Likes slash is interested in. I think you could have both, but you know, who knows. Um let's see what else like makes good content. This is just brainstorming off the top of my head. So we might not have all the answers. Sometimes I do because I write a lot of stuff down, but sometimes I don't. So it just kind of like all depends. Hmm. I might have to go like look up some stuff just to kind of jog my brain. Right. Oh, I guess like relevant, right? Relevant. So I guess like relevant to the times, right? So I like it, it's kind of like trendy, but like soft trendy, right? I think that's something that anybody is interested in, right? Um, it could be content that's easily searchable or like help somebody. So like when people say value, right? Like what kind of value does it bring? Like does it bring like entertainment, education, information, or inspiration? Let me see if there's other like content value. What makes content valuable? Let's see what people say. Be authoritative, be information, comprehensive, readable, point of view, give satisfaction. Okay. So I guess part of this is like it has to like maybe take a stance. It has to tell a story. You know, so all of these are like good content, I think. And it's like easy to follow. So if we're talking about, we could take some of these things and bring it into like a live perspective, you know. So we'll have like two. We'll have like this is live. Oops. And then the other one is gonna be, and then the other one's gonna be a VOD. So we'll have the lines. We'll do the line thing. This one connects to this one, and then we'll do another line thing. This one connects to this, right? So let's talk about like each one. What makes good content? I guess I could go down a little bit. Okay. So I guess we let's go for with the live perspective first before we talk about the VOD. Okay. I think it has to be engaging. Right? This is like general. The live has to be engaging, which means, you know, streamer talks to chat, chat can interact. They feel like they're a part of the show. You know, like it's like something like they're invested, right? They're emotionally invested. So I feel like that's important. For live, it's like easy to follow too. I think like both of it is easy to follow, but I think more so here, right? Because like if you just drop into a random stream and stuff is already happening, they're not gonna know exactly what's going on. So easy to follow. Maybe visual cues. Cues? Yeah, visual cues. Chat bots, right? Like verbal reminders of what's going on. Right? Like simple, like there's like a goal slash objective. I think that's also something that makes things easy to follow and easy to become invested in. So if you're emotionally invested, that means it's easy to follow, right? And I think for live and which actually makes us like, you know, like have a like plan of sorts. Have a plan. Like it could be like a loose one. Loose plans are okay. Because it just has to be something like an outline, you know, like a skeleton format that you can like slowly work your way into. So that's cool. This is good. What else makes good live content? I think stories, honestly, like it has to have a storytelling element, right? Again, this is for like emotional investment. This is for so like for people to like, viewers want to root for you. It's just like it basically makes you stand out because it's different from most streams. I don't think most streams have a storytelling element too. I think most streams kind of just, they start the stream, they play the game, people come in, they're like, hey, what's up, and we're just hanging out, right? This adds more value. It elevates the hangout. Frameworks? Fame works. Thank you, Halo. And what's up, dude? Good morning. So there's that. Easy to follow, engaging, some kind of storytelling element helps. Not saying these are all necessarily like required, but it's just kind of something that I've noticed after watching some streams, you know? So if you're playing League, like why are you playing League? So this is kind of like your why in a sense, right? This is like engaging. It's like what you do. And then easy to follow is like how you do it. Yeah. I think that's actually a pretty good I think that's a pretty good thing. It's like what you do, how you do it, and why you do it, right? Like it's a topic slash games that people that your target audience is interested in. Okay, so right, what, why, hows is pretty important. Like, and I guess the point of, and let me go one more here. Purpose, I guess like the goal is like retention of live stream content, right? You want viewers to come back, to stay, and then come back for more next time. The longer someone stays, the better. Especially if they're engaging in chat often. So like the goal here is retention for live content. I think for this one, VOD content, I think the goal here, and I guess I'll start off with the goal first because it's easy. Discoverability, right? Basically brand awareness, right? Make people know about you. You want people to find you, then get to know you over time by encountering your content often. Eventually, they will want to check out your live content and commit that time. Right, so there's that. That's why it's a little different. I wish I could like make this like a circle. Oh, can I draw? Oh yeah, because then this feeds back into here. Oh, this is sick. Right. Because this feeds back into here, and then I guess I'll just do another drawing, right, where this also feeds back into here. It's a circle. Let me just make this a little bit more of a rounded thing. So they feed into each other pretty much. Okay, so what makes good VOD content? I think it has to like hook people fast. What program is this? This is Milanote. This is a web-based software, web-based service software that you can use to you know, kind of like ideate, brainstorm, take notes. There's a lot of things you could do with this actually. And it'd be a really great time if I was sponsored by Milanote, but I'm not. But yeah, it's really cool to actually like brainstorm, come up with ideas. I could add pictures and stuff like that too to this. You could also like embed videos and stuff. So let me see if I could find like a random, you know. So I just got this off of Google. I could post this here. I could add lines and whatever. Um, you know, you could just basically drag and drop anything and it works. And then you could put it into a grid. There's like a column function that I haven't used yet, right? And then you could, oops, I don't want to draw. My bad. Oh, and then you could actually put cards in here, notes, and then we can make more. And there's like a little list, but we're not doing that right now. Right now, we're just writing these little cards out. So we kind of understand where we're going. Right now, we're like in the messy phase where things are just kind of going all over the place. I'm just brain dumping, and then we'll figure out how to put everything together, right? Because first we have to like define things. I think that is like the number one thing people don't do enough is just kind of defining stuff, right? So first we define the purpose. What are we trying to do? And then we have to define maybe like different types of production for short form content. We have to define some questions that we have and what is like a problem, you know? So actually, yeah, we haven't even defined the problems yet, even though it's in my head. So let's do that, right? Right, challenges. Right, streamers, hard to grow, right? Hard to grow on Twitch. Hard to know what content, the live content to make. Hard to create content outside of Twitch. But I guess like hard is just part of the challenge, right? So let's just challenges. Know what to make live content, create content outside of Twitch. I guess like probably it's like maybe some of it is just like knowing which direction to go, right? This is like overthinking is a challenge. I guess like not knowing if you're good enough, right? Like if people like you. And so this part is like imposter syndrome. So like these are some of the challenges that we want to help, right? And so like of course we gotta like if we're gonna make content, we gotta define like what is good content first. Then we're gonna figure out how to take aspects of this stuff and then kind of put it into a framework where that people can use and like, okay, cool. So for this week's live stream, right? The way I like to go about things is I like to plan on a weekly basis, right? So I guess this is like, what do you call this? Is this compatible with mobile devices? I think so. I haven't actually tried. There is an app though. I just haven't tried. So I guess yes. The answer is yes if there's an app. What was I about to say? Oh yeah. So we just have like, we have the early initial framework, right? Plan content on a weekly basis. This is what I like to do. My initial framework, right? I'm saying my because like it doesn't mean that this works for everybody, but this is something that I think is necessary to grow, or it's like how I like to go about it, right? So yeah, plan content on like a weekly basis, right? Like what days am I streaming, and then how long am I streaming for, right? And then what games, right? What games am I streaming? Is there any like, right? Am I doing non-gaming content? If so, what? Like just stuff like that. So, and then so it's like you have days, you have hours, you have games, and then you have like just chatting or like variety content, right? So if you want to do it like that. So days, hours, game, and then variety. Right? You kind of like fill this out and then you understand a little bit more like what you're gonna do. Um, and once you kind of have that, you're like, okay, cool. So you say, as an example, right? You want to stream for like 3 times a week, right? You want to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then you're gonna be streaming for like 3 to 4 hours each stream. Which means, and you want to play, like, I guess this is kind of what I'm thinking about when the new Pokemon game is coming out like tomorrow. So, um, let's just use that for an example, right? So you're gonna stream Pokemon, right? The game is Pokemon. We can say main game, or like main game slash main content, right? Because maybe you don't necessarily play games, but for this example, we'll play games. Pokemon and variety content, right? So like this is like secondary content. Are you doing that, right? Are you watching? I guess I'll expand on this, right? Are you watching? So what is variety content? What is non-gaming content that you can do? We kind of explored this yesterday, but we'll make a new list for that, right? So non-gaming content, and we are defining this as variety. And so it could be like watching YouTube, right? This is React. We could be reading articles. I guess this is kind of like React and Discuss, right? I like React and Discuss because it means that there's like a deeper, you can make like tier lists. You can do just chatting on specific topics, right? So this is just like a discussion-based content, like say like on news, relevant events, news and relevant topics. I guess if you want to throw like an IRL in there, if you want to transition to IRL, right? Like touch grass, go outside. What else can we do? I guess there's like editing streams, right? Editing, drawing, programming, like etc. Just different types of work like that. So that's kind of like how I would define variety content, right? Non-gaming content, variety. Where are we now? Ooh, we're going that way, huh? Okay. So I guess we'll go here, and then we'll like, yeah. I don't know how we're gonna organize this, but we will. We'll organize it later. Okay. So there's that. We have this. But yeah, so say like the second one is like watching YouTube, right? Watching YouTube. Like, and then it's like Pokemon related videos, I guess. So it's like how long, and then the question is like how long are you allocating each segment? And when I talk about allocating time for segments, it's like this is just like estimates, right? Like this is just a guideline. You're not meant to be strictly followed unless you want to. Just like we need to at least have something, right? We need to have parameters, and the more boundaries that we draw, the easier it is for us to create content, the easier it is for us to do anything. And so a lot of people sometimes feel that boundaries are restrictive, and it what do you call it, like stops creativity, right? Infringes on their creativity. But actually it is the boundaries that helps the creativity blossom, because it kind of gives you a sandbox to play in, which is why I like planning like this. You have to think about it, and you can't just go willy-nilly, because if you could do everything, then that means you can do everything, which is overwhelming, because then what are you going to do? What is everything, right? We can't define everything necessarily. And so in your head, if everything is possible, then also nothing is possible, and your brain starts overloading, and you're like, oh, what am I going to do? So you'll see this happen often when I don't have anything planned for the stream. I usually just don't stream at all. Or if I exhaust everything that I planned to do today, and I only went for like an hour, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'll just I'll just end stream because there's like nothing else for me to do. You know, like there's no good content. I could continue trying to like ad lib it. I could continue trying to wing it, but then is that really gonna do any good for the viewers? Because at that point they're gonna be lost. They're not gonna know what they came here for. Well, they know what they came here for, but they don't know what's next and if it's even worth it to stay. Right? They came for something. That something happened, and then a new thing happened that they didn't expect. And if it's not valuable to them, if it's not worth their time, they're gonna leave. They're gonna AFK. So that part is important. To just having this framework. Um. So yeah, this is what I could say so far, right? And if you want to go deeper with like the main game, right? And then I guess like we'll go to like level 2. Like I guess this is like level 1. We'll go with the gaming analogies. Level 2 would probably be just going like deeper into these things. And this is like where this is like like the most reduction of overthinking I think you can go towards. Let's draw a line. Oh gosh, where's my line? Okay. Yeah. Just so it's defined here. Okay. So we can go for like level 2 framework. Double click means create. Okay, I just learned that. So level 2, right? Streamer framework. Level 2. Very interesting I came across in terms of problem being bilingual and having 2 different languages in my chat. I had to rack my brain on how to frame stuff in both languages between an English and Spanish speaker. Oh. Hmm. And how'd that go for you as you were like trying to figure out that problem? Did you end up figuring something out, or you're still, thinking about it? Okay, so if we talk about like let's say hours, right? This is just planning like our like, and this is probably like after streaming for a month, for 1 to 3 months, right? Testing out different hours. Have you noticed if there was a time frame that was more optimal for you, right? This is where you kind of look at data and you start like doing shit with it. And then like game, right? Which game slash genre does my audience prefer, right? Which do I personally enjoy playing more, right? So you kind of now you're starting to this is like the audit. I think this is like the audit phase. Then this is like variety content, right? Same thing. Like, what does my audience prefer? What did I personally enjoy doing? Right. And then it's like the segments, right? Like how long do you like timing, right? How long do I want to allocate each segment to, right? And then it's like, do I want to include more segments? So like maybe in the beginning, there's like the startup rate. Like, so the example, right, is like there's a startup phase in the beginning. Oh, there's more chat now. It did not end as well as I would like it. I would respond in English and a conversation would flow from there, but I feel like I neglected the Spanish speaker because I would have stopped mid-conversation in English. All right, so let me ask you the question then, right? And this is while taking into consideration that we try to be as inclusive as possible, but we also have to make decisions. So do you want to have a more primarily English speaking chat, or do you want to have more of a primarily Spanish speaking chat, right? And now I'm asking you about like what audience do you want more of? Because if you want to have, if you want to prioritize Spanish speaking people in your community, then you know, maybe, yeah, then maybe you should have done a little bit more to not make them feel as neglected. Although if you want to grow your community and the type of community that you want to build is mainly comprised of English speaking people, then it's gonna be just like a result, right? That Spanish speaking people will unfortunately feel a little bit more left out because your community is comprised of English speaking people, especially like if you're trying to play a specific game where it's known to have way more English speaking people than Spanish speaking people. Um, that's just kind of like the nature of how things are going to be, you know? And it's just like you got to prioritize it and figure out which one, you know, like what does that future of your community like look like? And if it is bilingual, right? Like then what if you really really want it to be bilingual, then what ways can you like how might we come up with solutions that the other person will not feel left out in the next time that you stream, and try implementing that, figure out how it goes. Maybe ask him. Like you could just straight up ask the person if you want. Um this is another thing I encourage like streamers to do all the time, is to literally just um DM their viewers and just ask them questions to figure stuff out. So just some stuff off the top of my mind that I have that popped up. So include more segments, right? So like do we want like just like, let me see, stream starting soon, right? So like this is the roll-in period. This is like 5 minutes maybe. This is the just chatting, which is maybe like 10 to 15 minutes, right? Then we jump into like the main content for like how long? Maybe like 2 hours, right? Maybe 1.5. Like 1 hour 30, 1 hour 30 minutes. And then it's like secondary content, which could be like the last, you know, 30 minutes, I guess. And then like ending, just chatting, call to actions, stuff like that. That could be like the last 15, right? I don't know if this equates exactly to 3 hours, but you know, you kind of get the point, right? You kind of just got to build out like a timeline. This is kind of like building out a run of show for yourself. And a run of show, for people who aren't familiar with production terms, it's basically just like an outlined, like timed out plan of what is gonna happen like every single minute of a production. You know, even down to like when transitions are gonna happen, when you're gonna throw it to the casters, when the casters are going to you know, talk for like this many minutes, then we're gonna get into the analyst desk, and then they're gonna jump into the game. The game is gonna take approximately this long, and after the game is over, you have to, you know, do the transition with the graphics, and then throw it to back to the caster desk or something like that. So, and then sponsorship, you know, like segment. So everything is like itemized and timed out to like the exact minute, as like best as possible, because sometimes in esports games take longer or shorter. So it's kind of like you throw in lead time if you can. But yeah. Give me 1 second. You bring up good points. At the end of the day, it's the type of community I want. Yeah. So there's that. Oh, I need mods on my YouTube. Oh well. Okay. So now so we talked about timing, we talked about variety content game. We like just go deeper into it. You know, how long you can allot to each segment. What are you like? This is just kind of more like reflecting and changing stuff up a little bit. So that's part of the framework. Yeah, this is pretty good so far, actually. It's a lot of information on how to get stuff done. I guess if we talk about like the VOD, right? So going back here, what makes good VOD content? Hooks people fast, right? Is always to the point, right? It's always to the point. There's no like, this is where the editing comes in. This is where cuts happen, because you want something to always be happening. You want people to stay engaged. You want people to, and good content, I think VOD content is like where people get to like, I guess like story. I'm always gonna go back to stories, like storytelling / narratives. Right. Like giving glimpses of your personality is also another thing that I think is super important. Right. So, I mean, of course, like good editing, good story, good pacing, right? Something that has like a good hook to it, and it's on platforms that like basically help people find you a lot easier. So we kind of defined this stuff a little bit, which is good, because we need to do that. The difficulty of production from short form content. This one is something that racks a lot of people's brains that I'll be definitely talking to. I'm talking to some creators today, and so where can I get to figuring out like what content they should be creating. 1 second, just gotta read a text message. Cool. All right. So yeah, the difficulty of production. All right, short form content. The easy mode is where you just like upload clips, right? Like upload clips, don't change aspect ratio, right? So this is like unoptimized for mobile. Upload clips to like TikTok, I guess. That's it. We don't have to do that, right? Like no hashtags or whatever. You just like upload it. This is the part where you get like, this is how you get used to uploading your stream clips, right? And I guess like part of the, I mean, it's not all easy. Like you just have to like, the hardest part is to remember to make clips, like to clip moments yourself. If people aren't, and the reason why I say you have to clip moments of yourself, sometimes you can rely on chat to do that, but it's pretty hard because sometimes chat doesn't know like exactly what good moments are to clip, and sometimes they might clip it because it's a trollsy moment or it's a meme moment, but it may not actually be a good moment to share. You know, like for example, if it's something, they clip something that's like a meme of like an inside joke that you have with your community, people outside aren't necessarily going to get it, so it won't make good content that attracts new people, you know. TikTok, or actually no, I love the YouTube Shorts, right? Medium, upload to 2 platforms, right? This part is like change aspect ratio to optimize for mobile, right? So like knowing that, although you can use joincombo.com to make this a lot easier, right? You could do that. And then you could also like add cuts, right? Like cut the video a little bit. Cut the video a bit to make it easier for people to like stay engaged. Pretty much. You have to do a little bit of editing, right? And then for this one, you also have to, I guess, like be more mindful of like the moments, right? Of how you start and end the clips you want to upload. Because like sometimes it takes like way too long to get to the point. And if it takes way too long to get to the point, then people are gonna click off and they're not gonna watch. So yeah. And then the hard one, I guess the hard one is like, you know, like full on full on editing with zoom ins, sound effects, subtitles, right, etc. Upload to 3 platforms, upload 2 to 3 per day, right? This is like scheduling posts. This is you know, like creating your own templates and editing in actual like video editing software is also something that is like hard. So like this is like hard mode. Like so you do the easy mode for how long? Like you could do the easy mode until like, you know, you're comfortable. But I would say like you could do this for maybe like 1 to 2, 1 to 3 months, right? And then this is like again, actually like just do each segment like 3 months at a time. And then eventually you'll get, you know, you'll get better. And as you make money, like if it gets hard and you don't want to commit time to doing this, this is the part where you legit just like, this is where you have to hire someone to do this. If you don't want to commit time to doing that. So yeah. Okay. But I think this framework like works pretty well. First, and I guess if I had to figure out how to like organize everything. Let me see. The first one's planning, I guess. Let me see. How do you start? Okay. So let's just start kind of fresh down here, right? Just so we can start with blank thoughts. 1 second. Let me take a drink. So there are questions to answer first, I think. Answer some questions. Build a simple framework around the answers. Right, take action, reflect, iterate, and then iterate, reflect. So like this is more like asking yourself more questions. Hello. You iterate and then you take action again. And then you just, you know, you keep on going. But the thing is, I guess like the hard part is like trying to make it. Like I mean, you could do all of this in a Word document, right? Like if you create this in a Word document and you have something like a checklist, like a to-do list, like did I plan, right? Like planned this week's content, right? Like that's one thing. And then figuring out like you know, did I update all of my software just so like it didn't crash, right? Did I do a test stream on a test account 30 minutes before my go live time just to make sure like everything is working, you know? Like I think one of the most frustrating parts about streaming sometimes is when you decide to stream and you like commit to making the announcement and everything and you realize like nothing works, and that's just going to be very demotivating. So that part is like important, you know. Plan this week's content, update software, do a test stream. So that's kind of like the checklist before, you know, you get anything done at all. And then even like having and then even like I think having a document, that you can refer to every day. Um every day at any time is useful to keep you on the right path that you planned for yourself. So maybe like what I could do is to kind of like maybe like this is for me, right? This is action item for me. Like this is a like create a template for people to use to make this process easier, because I've gone through this thing a billion times in my head, like this process of just figuring out, okay, what, how many days, how many hours, what games, variety, what are the segments, what are the topics, and you're like, okay, cool, like this is exactly what I'm gonna do. Is there anything that I need to prepare for this stream, right? So like do I have all of my materials prepared for all my streams, right? So by materials, I'm talking about like YouTube links if you're planning on watching YouTube, um, YouTube slash like website links. Do you have like images? Do you have like the game installed? Do you have like the game updated? Drivers updated? Do you have your overlays updated? Do you have your panels updated? Do you have like did you pre-write a announcement tweet? Maybe did you like create an announcement graphic, right? It's kind of like you have like a list of stuff that you need to do. And if you have all those materials prepared for the week and maybe you plan on like Saturday and Sunday to prepare for it. So when you do start the stream, you know exactly like, hey, this is exactly what I'm doing. This is you know, what we're gonna do. This is the goal of whatever game that I'm playing, and it's just so much easier for people to follow, and it's just setting expectations, right? So if we do this, if we do the framework, does it hit some of this stuff, right? Of course it's gonna be something that you like, so we hit that. Um, and if you know how you go about playing games, you know exactly how you're going to plan your content. So it hits this. Something that your audience is interested in. Well, if you planned it beforehand and you thought about it and you asked your audience like what they like and stuff like that, especially like in Framework 2, when you start questioning or reflecting and then maybe asking your community questions, that answers that, right? Relevant to the times, it provides some kind of value of entertainment, education, information, inspiration. You could probably hit those too. Does it take a stance? Take a stance, not necessarily. I mean, by taking a stance, you could say like this game is good when everybody else thinks it's bad, but right? Does it tell a story? You can add storytelling elements to like any game that you play, and maybe that's gonna be a talk for another time, right? Like how to like or with gaming. And it is easy to follow. Well, I think if you have a schedule and you tell people like what you're gonna do that day and the content that you're gonna make, yeah, it's gonna be easy to follow, right? You could keep it engaging. So this part engaging is like the game that you play, but also like the stuff that you do. You know, like channel points, alerts, anything that makes the stream feel a little bit more fun. Easy to follow is visual cues, chat bots, verbal reminders, having a goal or objective of each stream or of each gaming session. You know, having a loose plan. So yes, storytelling, of course, right? So as long as you do all of this and keep people's expectations on like what's gonna happen, what you're playing, why you're playing it, why they should root for you, stuff like that, chances are you're gonna have higher retention, right? Because people will know when they come into stream, this is what you're up to, right? Even if they come in late, they know what this is what you're up to, so they're gonna stay. They're not lost. If they're new viewers, at least, you know, with the things like visual cues, verbal reminders, having a bot talk about it, having chat, you know, talk about it, like they're not exactly completely lost when they come into your stream. They know exactly what's going on. And for the VOD content, when you finally do take the chance and do take the opportunity to clip your streams yourself, either by using something like a Stream Deck or even alt tabbing, going to the creator studio on Twitch and pressing the clip that button, you could clip stuff and then, you know, use a website like Join Combo or a software like DaVinci Resolve, two of which I use to create the VOD, right? And then this is just learning how to hook people fast. And to learn how to create good VOD content, to learn how to create any good content in general, you have to be a consumer of that content. You have to watch a lot of stuff and see what other people do. Um, because there's going to be things that you like and things that you don't like, but you're going to see also what's effective, right? Or so maybe you flip it. You find the stuff that's effective and you take the stuff that you like and that aligns with how you do things. And that's just going to make it so much easier. So how I learned how to make short form content was by basically being addicted to like TikTok and watching, you know?
Oh, you're able.
Yeah, they have a draw function now. Look at that. It's cool. I know. Yeah, so now people can kind of like get it. Like, I mean, my work is all over the place, but hey, this is like visually very interesting, you know? If I click on something, at least like it highlights so people know what we're on. But yeah, you gotta watch a lot of content to know like how to make good content. And then you gotta put it out there, because if you don't, then you don't know how to actually make good content because you never made it before. So yeah. And there's also the difficulty of production, right? Like how to make short form content at least. Long form is a little different. It's a totally different beast. And if you have the time to commit to creating long form highlights or cut downs of like specific moments, then like, yeah, go do it. I always encourage people to learn how to edit themselves, but if you don't, then when you start making money from things like, you know, subs, when you make money from things like, well, I guess you're not making money from AdSense just yet, right? So if you're making money just from subs at the moment, or even like Patreon, or Ko-fi, or Fanhouse or whatever, then at least like you could use that money and, you know, bring it back to to hire an editor. And when you hire an editor, and you're gonna lose a little bit of money at first, right? Because those videos aren't really, they might not pop off because you may not have this synergy with your editor. Your editor may not know exactly what you want. And maybe your like live content isn't even like that great at the moment to cut down, you know, like maybe it just needs to be more interesting. But at least like when you do it and the video comes out and you're like, oh shoot, like I realize how like unengaging this is, and how like it doesn't work at the moment. So then you'll once again define and ask yourself, what can I do in order to make this content better, right? You find the pain points and you address those pain points. You find the gaps and fill it. So, but that's like a conversation for another day, I think, when it comes to figuring out how to like move your money in a way that helps you grow your Twitch stream, right? How to like reinvest, how to reinvest your money to make more money later down the road. That's really important. So yeah, that's pretty much it for like a creator system and framework. There's like different levels, you know, that you can do. And I think this is like the simplest thing. This is, I think, the key to helping a lot of people like grow from at least like 1 viewer to 100 viewers. This right here. The only reason why it wouldn't work for someone is just like if they didn't put in the work. That's probably it. And you know, like let me know if you think that's right or wrong. Because if we look at people who have like a high viewership on Twitch or a lot of followers elsewhere, it's because they make content elsewhere. But it also takes like time too. You know, you look at them, they stream consistently, or they stream every day, or they stream long hours. They do whatever that works for them. And they also have a habit of creating content outside of Twitch. They have a and not only like video content, right? Maybe they tweet a lot. Maybe they post a lot of pictures on Instagram. Maybe they write articles on like LinkedIn or whatever, right? Or maybe they just straight up make short form content on TikTok and Instagram and now YouTube, and they're able to convert those followers into you know, into Twitch viewership. And then by building a community, which I guess like maybe step 3 in the framework, right? When you have enough people, you build a Discord out. And then when you build a Discord out, people can interact with each other. They can really get to know one another, build friendships, build those relationships. And then that's when they can and will become advocates for your brand, your stream, your content, and people will want to recommend their friends or people that they know to watch and be a part of your community as well, you know. So that's kind of like the flywheel effect. That's another like marketing term that we can get into at another date. Overall though, this is what I think is kind of the quote unquote secret to going from like 1 to 100, like a very broad overview of what people need to do. And of course there's more work that needs to be done in figuring out like what your brand is, what you stand for, what do you like to do, um you know, just like yourself in general, right? So if I made a list of all of the things that I like, my hobbies and my interests, it would be um it would be used as, ooh, that is, there we go. It would be used as a way for me to create like variety content, for example, right? Like if I like, so you make a list of your hobbies and interests, and you figure out like, oh, I like anime. Well, what kind of anime do you like? What genres do you like? What shows do you like? What do you like about them? Um, and then maybe like, what games do you like? Same thing. What games specifically do you like? What genre do you lean towards? Why do you like those games? Is it the community? Is it the way that you play the game? Is it because it's competitive or casual or cozy? There's a lot of different things there. You know, do you like to cook? What cuisine do you like? Are you into sneakers? Are you into fashion? Are you into whatever it may be, right? For me, at the moment, it's like cameras and photography and videography and teaching. And so people, and as I like talk about those things more, as I post on social media more about all the things that I'm into, all of the stuff that I get, and I share more of like my interests with people, people with similar interests will like find, you know, they'll just be like, oh, hey, like that's, they're like me, you know, and they find relatability in those little things that you put out there. And so it makes them like want to check you, it makes them like you more, right? The reason why people like and follow someone is because they can relate to that person and they feel like they can trust that person. But if you can't relate to a person, then why would you follow them? You know, like it's very like slim chance that you will. You have to give people a reason to follow you. So it's all of those like little things, and then figuring out how to integrate your hobbies and interest into like your content, right? And how to tell like your story of your journey as a streamer. You know, what was going on last month? What was going on last week? Like, how long has it been since you've been streaming? Why do you keep on streaming? This is like an important story to tell people whenever it's you know, relevant to tell people like why you're doing what you're doing. And you know, and that also builds like rapport and relatability, and it makes people like understand, oh, hey, like this person is out here more than to create content for more reasons than I was bored and I just streamed, which might be the start of why everyone started, but why do you continue doing what you do, you know? If it's to make money, then that's not very compelling. So there's just a lot of things there to think about. Yeah, so there's a lot of things. Sorry, I got a text message. There's a lot of things to think about, but that's how you think through things, right? And so you'll hear this a lot when you come by the stream. I just ask a lot of questions. Those questions are like the key to answers. The questions are the key to figuring out like solutions to your challenges, to your problems, right? How do you grow on Twitch? Like, what does growing on Twitch mean? You know? And so we break that down if we want to. Like, so grow on Twitch. Ooh, one big sucker. Thank you so much for the follow. So you want to grow on Twitch, right? Like, what does this mean, right? More followers? More concurrent viewers, CCV, right? Or you want like more engagement, right? More people chatting actively, right? And I think they could like chatters, like unique chatters. I think that's like the actual metric on Twitch. So it's like, okay, cool. Depending on which one you want to go towards, right? You figure out like the strategy behind it. right? More follows is like, how do you get people to, like, this is like, how do you get people to follow? What value do you have that people would want to return, right? And like, what are methods to get people to follow, right? Like, so this is like the tactics to add to your live content strategy, you know? So this is like call to actions, and stuff like that, you know? Like, this is like how you think. More CCV, like, okay, so this is like retention, right? And the question here is like, how do you, like, what about what you're playing slash doing on stream is interesting enough for people to want to stay, right? Or like, can you get people, how do you get people to stay on stream, right? Like, or like, why do people stay on stream, right? Like, to chat, to engage, to whatever. And you break this down, you work backwards. Yo, what's up? What's up? +1 unique chatter. Hell yeah. What's up, Mama Tamago? You know, why do people stay on stream, right? To chat, to build relationships, to like have fun. You know, like, what is fun to the people that you want to serve, right? So to some streamers, fun is like trolling the streamer. You know, for others, fun is like making new friends, interacting with chat, interacting with the streamer. What you call it? Maybe they built in some things in the chat that allow you to like affect what the streamer is doing. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, this is all depending on the person, you know? Yeah, more engagement, right? Unique chatters. So like, how do you get people to chat? People stay on stream, like, why do they want to lurk? Channel points, right? Channel points are, sometimes I can't engage on stream all the time, but I do lurk to build up channel points so I can use it, right? So it's just more stuff that you can think about. It's just, this is all a lesson on defining things pretty much. Yeah. So I don't know if you were here earlier, Wendy, but this is what we've been working on. All of this. I guess I can move this down a little bit, but just to give this space to breathe, grow. Yeah, we were just working on a lot of different stuff. Oh, the framework, actually, this one sticks here. There we go. Yeah, so it's kind of, there you go. Three spaces of work. This is pretty cool. I like this a lot. Oh, but I did do a lot of talking though. I did do a lot of talking for sure. Yeah. Oh, where's my arrows? Do my arrows still work? Oh, they are. Okay, they're there. This is called Milanote. This is the logo for it. So this is, double tap, Milanote. And it's a tool to help people think and brainstorm and workshop. It's really cool. It's a great thinking tool because it's for people like me who are like super visual, you know. You could add links in here, you could add pictures, you could I just dragged, you know, these pictures off of Google, right? You could take a line, draw, where's my line go? Oh shoot. You could take a line, draw one line to the that's the corner. Ah. That's not, I'm not representing this well. Take this line here and take this line, go here, right? And then so now you have it linked. And then I think you can even like add a note here to the bottom of it. I forgot, like there's like different ways you can do things, or have like a column. Maybe I could throw this in here. Yeah. Or I could throw like a note in between and type, you know, just fun stuff to do, help you think. Yeah, I had your stream open, but I didn't have a chance to really listen until now. Gotcha. Yeah, I was thinking last night, you know, and I was taking these notes on my notebook. It's so bright you can't see. But I was taking a lot of notes and I was thinking through stuff and I'm like, okay, so you know, in my mind, and this might be because of my like competitive gaming background, like I feel like sometimes stuff is a lot easier than people make it out to be. Um from a general broad perspective, right? So I'm like, okay, all we and then the way I help streamers out when I work with clients or students, like one on one, I usually ask a lot of questions to help them think through stuff. So I'm like, okay, like what happens if we come up with a system or a framework or something for people to think through? And so what we came up with was like the first one, right? It's just like, say for example, you want to make content and you're the type of person that likes to have things more structured, and in my opinion having more structure allows for more creativity to grow because you actually have a play, a sandbox to play in, right? It's kind of less overwhelming. So it's like what days are you streaming, how many hours, what games, if you have like non-gaming content or like a secondary game, what is it, how long are you going to allocate for each segment, and you answer those questions and you're like, oh shoot, okay, cool, that's my plan for this week. It could be something as simple as that. Of course, when it comes to being an entertainer, um on like live, that's harder, right? That is something that needs to be like learned over time. But you could also ask questions for that too, which kind of just gave me that idea. So let's start that, right? Like what makes a person entertaining, right? First, like who is your who is your audience, right? Who is your audience and what is your personality, right? Who is your target audience and who is your personality? It's always dependent on those two things. You ask that, right? Am I more of an extroverted person? Am I more of a quiet person and introverted? Am I soft spoken? Am I loud? Um, do I just like saying head ass shit because it's funny and I'm good with banter? Um, Whatever, right? Like you just reflect and create a list of things about your personality. And then your target audience is like, what is the personalities of the audience that you want to attract? Obviously, if you are a super extroverted person, you don't want a bunch of introverts in your chat. I mean, they wouldn't come in anyways, right? The energy might be like too much for them. That's not their vibe. So you think about that. And then it's like, what and then like um then you can ask yourself like, what about me is entertaining? And like, or you could ask like, who who what other creators do I find entertaining, and like why, right? Like what aspects, right? Aspects slash attributes slash examples or whatever. And like what can I emulate from the people I find entertaining, right? And how do you like throw that into your own content, into like your own personality when you're like live, right? So it's I haven't thought about this one yet. This one's a little tough because I told my friend, one of my clients that I'm working with, I'm like, yo, go like take improv classes, and he's like, yeah, you know what, improv classes, that can help out. That can work. And so I think he found one finally, and he's gonna go take it. And I think improv is great because he's the type of person, in the fighting game community, we like to banter a little bit. We like to shit talk, but like tastefully and respectfully, of course, as much as we can. Sometimes it goes overboard, but again, it depends on the person, right? Yeah, Javi's a very sweet guy, so it's he's gonna learn how to like take stuff from chat and use it as part of his content, kind of like how like really really good comedians are awesome with hecklers. They're just like so quick on the fly coming up with stuff that people like throw at them and turning it back as like content, kind of like the magic cylinder. Is it magical cylinder? I think it's called magical cylinder. Or is it magic cylinder? Oh, it's magic cylinder. Okay, yeah, the magic cylinder card from Yu-Gi-Oh. This is the card, right? When when an opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict the damage back to your attack to your opponent equal to its attack. So you just reflecting it. That's what magical cylinder is. Um, Knowing how to take, something externally and turn it into your own power. So, yeah, I like that. Time to refresh, find more music. Yeah, like what are my personality traits that like I want to highlight? Oh, that's another thing. What are personality traits of mine that I want to highlight? right? And the more that you can like bring yourself out, the more people will see you less of a generic streamer. Because I tell this to people all the time that I don't think Twitch or YouTube or whatever is oversaturated in a sense. I just feel like it's oversaturated with people who with just generic creators, right? Not to their like, not like they choose to be, but they just don't know how to like, you know, take themselves and really like make themselves shine and stand out, right? This is not something that's normally taught. So, you know, no flame to them, but it's just, that's what it is, right? Everyone's like, yeah, I want to stream. So they just hop on stream, find the stream key, OBS, maybe find some kind of overlay that may be some kind of related to their personality or what they like, but we're not sure why exactly, right? No one knows. At this point, like the gaming aesthetic all starts looking the same. And then they play like one game that they like, which is a popular game. If it's Valorant, Call of Duty, League of Legends, whatever, right? And then you just look like another streamer that does the same exact thing, that hops on stream, plays games, sometimes talks to chat if they're not too focused on the game, right? And so if you're like able to just kind of put like a mirror to yourself and write these things down and figure out what makes you special, I guess that's kind of like really is it's a little weird, right? And let me know if you agree with me, but it kind of like requires you to kind of like love yourself, to know and be comfortable with doing this, like the personality stuff exercise. Because if you see yourself in like in a really bad light, I think it's gonna be impossible to do this. If you think that you're not special at all, if you think that you're boring and what, like if you just think super negative about yourself, this is not gonna work, you know? Because other people are gonna feel that vibe too, and you're not gonna be able to answer this. It's tough. So this is kind of like what like is another like exercise for figuring out like what makes you you, what makes you unique, and why should people who like what you like follow you, right? Like what do you bring to the table that like makes them like, oh yeah, this is what I was looking for, you know? This is cozy, this is home, this is community. Especially in a time like this where, you know, it's harder to build IRL communities in a sense. Not only because COVID happened, but because of like the areas that we live, right? Sometimes you could live in a rural area where it's just like, it's not a city, it's not a walkable city, and there aren't a lot of community spaces going around anymore. Like malls are kind of dying in a sense, right? All malls are dying. And besides that, like I can't think of anywhere else to hang out with people, right? Maybe at a bar or something, but not everyone wants to drink. So there's no like community spaces anymore. And, you know, most people are a little bit more reclusive, stay at home. So if you're able to provide a online space for people who are just like you, who like what you like and value the things that you value, like, I think that that's important. That like transcends, or like that's the next level to being, like after being entertaining. You know what I'm saying? There has to be a reason why like people stick together. And this is why I create, you know, I think this is why we're friends, and I'm friends with a bunch of people that drop by in this chat whenever they can, because like we all like learning. We all are creators or creatives in some type of way, and we want to, you know, just really like grow ourselves, and do like do good, share what we love, you know, all these things. So yeah, that's this is definitely gonna turn into some kind of like more succinct, you know, easier to follow content. Like this is like my brain right now, right? And we went through a lot. I said a lot, so I'm gonna have to like recheck the VOD, download, talk, like just figure out like what the hell was I even talking about, and see if I could make that into an easier understand method and upload that as like video content. But also I want to like take this and write this out on Twitter too. This is definitely gonna be, I think, a couple of threads, in my opinion. This is gonna be good, and I hope like people will find this useful too. I really do. You you know, this is just the start. It's not easy, but once we dig a little deeper and I figure out like what are the roadblocks that are stopping people from creating content that they really like, the better I can help people out. So, you know, anybody in chat, um, you know, if you do have friends that are like having trouble with creating content, or with growing or whatever related to the content slash streaming space, you know, send them here, send them my way. You know, let them know about me so I can, you know, like legit just ask them questions and or have them hang out in chat and we'll learn together and I could learn more about like what challenges are they facing, because chances are if they're facing a problem, a lot of other people are facing the same problems. And so the more we're able to define and identify what they are, the better we can build out systems that I could eventually release for people to use and make creating content more fun and less overwhelming, and eventually move to the ultimate goal of doing it full time and doing it on your terms, right? Creating the content that you like, not creating content that other people want you to create just so that you can make a living, right? This is why we decided to have the dream of creating content full time so we can work on stuff that creatively fulfills us and so that we don't have to do work of other people's that we don't enjoy, right? For like whatever company. So yeah, that was pretty good. I should write that down. I mean, it's recorded anyways, so hey, like it's technically recorded. That sounds like some pretty good website copy. And I mean, I was really feeling it. You know, like these couple of days, all I've been talking to is content creators, and I was also, you know, watching a K drama called Extraordinary Attorney Woo. I don't know if y'all have seen that before, but you know, it really got me in the feels last night in the particular episode where the main character kind of like reflects on like, you know, why they do what they do, like as a lawyer, you know, and their job to like protect and help people who you know, need assistance with the law. Yeah. We in the zone. We in the zone. We in the zone with green tea. But I do have a meeting to go to in 15 minutes and I have not eaten yet. So let's go raid somebody. Let's go raid somebody. And you know, I appreciate y'all for dropping by. So like let's raid somebody, say hi, and go about our day. This was a great stream. You know, we did what we need to do. 1 hour 22 minutes. I love it. Oh shoot. My friend Tori is streaming. Let's go. And is she Kingdom Hearts? Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. Let's do that. Flash raid Tori Pereno. Then we'll to my channel. We'll go ahead and raid with everybody that's in this chat. Ah, what a good day. What a good day. Yeah, thanks everybody again for stopping by. It makes me happy every single time I see more people in this chat interacting, and it's just no, this is, I mean, yeah, it's people, it's what keeps me here. So, all right. Let's go. Let's say hi. Everybody have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all tomorrow or maybe tonight when I play games. Peace.